So today we're going to do another unboxing for the Middle-earth CCG. I've got the limited edition expansion packs for Dark Minions. This time it's in English, and there's a little Nazgul right there. Little furry one, but still a Nazgul. And this pack came in as usual from my dear friend in the Netherlands. It retailed when I bought it for 99 euros. It contains, let's just take a look, 36 boosters with 15 cards per pack. When this expansion was released, it added a couple of new things. It added the agents, which is a kind of, I'm not sure if that's actually minions or how they work. And it also added the Underdeeps locations, some of which you saw if you watched my unboxing of the Against the Shadow, the German version. So let's just crack open the box. It's as usual in excellent condition, but we would expect nothing less from our trusted seller. So it's like one of those standy-uppy things. You can open it and then you would place it out on your display, so it's the display box. And this is what the actual boosters look like. And let's take a look at what we can see. So we're looking at 480 cards in total. Ancient Stare, it's a short event, playable at the end, only at the end of the organization phase on a company that starts its turn at an untapped adjacent site of an Underdeep site. Opponent may draw up to twice the normal number of cards for this company during the movement hazard phase. If the company moved to an Underdeep site at the end of the turn, the company may replace its side card with the side card at which it began the turn. Raisha, Warrior Scout, Man, Unique, Agent, Homesite Variak Camp, Eastern Camp or Southron Oasis. Will not come down, playable on an untapped agent. Tap the agent who may then make an influence attempt against an ally faction or character. Unused general influence modification does not apply. If successful, the target is not discarded, but rather it is returned to its owner's hand. The Underlees. Adjacent sites Gundabad, the Iron Deeps, the Under Grottos, the Under Gates, the Under Vaults. Umagaur the Pale, it's a creature, unique troll. One strike, also playable at Moria, it's a fiend. Let's see, here's the information. Middle-earth Dark Minions. You can take people prisoner. Underdeep site movement. One of your companies that begins its turn at the surface site of an Underdeep site can move normally, or it can move to its adjacent Underdeep site. One of your companies that begins its turn on an Underdeep site may only move to one of the adjacent sites listed on the Underdeep site card. The Underdeeps. Moving and or from an Underdeep site has no side path. So hazards may only be played key to the company's new site. Okay, an environment card that changes site type cannot be used to change the site type of an Underdeep site. And I assume that the that the numbers, like the undervault 7 means you're going to draw 7 hazard cards. No, actually it says 1 and 4. I've no idea what undervaults is, what these numbers refer to, these numbers in brackets. We will find out. Dark numbers, very good, because there's an adventure where I need those. Rebuild the town. Playable on a non-dragon's lair. This side becomes a border hold and loses all automatic attacks. This is really nice. The Ancient Stare, I'm not sure. Nobody's Friend. As a permanent event, playable on a face-down agent who was brought into play this turn. Okay. In darkness, bind them. Any creature that can be keyed to a shadowland may be keyed to Ithilien, Harondor, Horseplains, Khand, Imlad, Morgul, Nirn, Gorgoroth, Udun, or Dagolard. Any creature that can be keyed to a dark domain may be keyed to Khand, Imlad, Morgul, Nirn. Okay, very good. Doubled Vigilance, playable on a Shadowland, Shadowhold, and Runes and Lairs. If the company chooses to enter the site, it must make a roll and subtract its company size. If the result is greater than 6, the company may enter the site as normal. Otherwise, the company must face an attack to be resolved before any automatic attacks. Orcs, 4 strikes with 9 prowess. Okay, that's a nasty one. When you know more, light enchantment, playable on a sage during the sight phase at a site where information is playable. Tap sage and sight. Tap sage to modify one influence attempt by a character in his company by +2 sage, makes a corruption check. Okay, very good. Eun, warrior scout, unique agent. Veil of Erech or Londgalen, hundreds of butterflies, playable at on a moving character during his movement hazard phase. Untap the character and increase the hazard limit against his company by 1. Very nice. 2 or 3 tribes present, playable on a company moving with at least 2 wilderness, 1 shadowland, or 1 dark domain in their side path. When played, announce a creature type except Nazgul, undead, or dragons, like orcs, men, slayers, drakes. For this turn, any hazard creatures of this type played against the target company do not count against the hazard limit. That's going to be difficult to pull off in solo play, but I'll still put it over here. Secret Ways, long event. The roll required to move between adjacent underdeep sites is decreased by 4. Oh, okay, I get it. So this is probably the roll that you have to make in brackets here. And this one decreases it by 4. So if you want to, I guess this is what this means. If you want to move to the under gates, you need a roll of 6. So, and if you play this, you only need a roll of 2. Okay. Yeah, so let's see what the next package holds. Ancient Stare, we saw that just now. Fori the Beardless, he's also an ancient. He's got a +2 direct influence against dwarves and dwarf factions. The dwarves are upon you, very good card. We've got this already. Hermit's Hill. This is a new location, which I've never seen before. Gems of Arda. Playable at the Gem Deeps. If you have a stored Vein of Arda, playable at any Underdeep site. That's really good. So this is also a completely new item, which I've never seen before. And again, Dialis, she's also an agent. Warrior, Diplomat, Man. Noble Hound, this is an ally we've seen before. Hall of Fire, permanent event, playable on a haven. Any company at this haven immediately following its movement hazard phase may choose for one of its characters to untap or heal. From wounded to tap. Discard Hall of Fire when the side card is returned to the location deck. Okay, you would play it on a Haven. Faces of the Dead, short event, playable on a non-wizard character moving with at least 2 wilderness in his side path. If you discard any undead hazard creature from your hand, show opponent. Target character makes a roll and adds his mind. If the result is less than 13, that character splits off into a different company. This new company immediately returns. Okay, so you could play this in a solo game as a hazard, and if you have a character and if there is an undead hazard, you would just remove the undead hazard from the list and then just play this. Yeah, that would work. And if you haven't watched my channel or any of the CCG stuff, since I play solo, when I analyze cards, I also always check, could they be played solo? Enduring Tales. When player discards a card from his hand, he may discard it to the top of his play deck. And always face down instead of his discard pile. Very nice. So now we're getting into, you know, like things that we would know from the Lord of the Rings LCG. Well, of course, this came first, where they're now actually into hand management a lot more, which might be Lies. Playable on a stored resource permanent event that required an information site to be played. Sorry, playable on a stored resource permanent event that required an information site to be played. Discard the event. Okay. Don't know how useful this is going to be. Reaching Shadow. Any creature that can be keyed to a shadow land may be keyed to Anduin Valleys. Okay, very good. So it means you get more flexibility, and that's very good when you play solo, because obviously you draw from the hazard deck. And when you build the hazard deck and you put this in, you give yourself a lot more flexibility as to where your hazards can be keyed to. Wound of Long Burden. Corruption, playable on a character facing a strike with a prowess of 12 or greater. If the strike is not successful, discard this card. Otherwise, target character receives 1 corruption point and his body is lowered by 1. Okay, can be played using single play. Free to choose, playable on an item that normally gives 3 corruption points or more. Target item gives 2 fewer corruption points, 3 fewer if the Gates of Mourning is in play. Discard after its bearer makes a corruption check. Cannot be duplicated on any given item. Very good. Good Sense Revolts. And again, I would like to draw your attention to the lovely artwork. Playable on an untapped agent. Tap the agent, who may then make an influence attempt against an ally. +4. Or +8 if ally, faction, or character is playable at agent's home site. Alternatively, modify an influence attempt by an agent by +4. This card cannot serve both functions. Okay. Okay. So, next one. What I'm doing at the moment is, since I don't know how I will be playing with agents, and also you saw that some of the stuff that will also be coming out in other expansions, especially anything to do with the Nazgul, I'm not sure how I'm going to play these and how I'm going to play some of the hazards and some of the stuff there, because at the moment I'm not playing as a Nazgul, I'm playing as a wizard. So we'll see how that works out, and I will probably have to come up with some solo scenarios where you can play as a Nazgul. Sentinels of Numenor. Place this card in your marshalling points pile. Any attempt by any player to influence a faction playable at the sites in Anorian, Lebanon, Lamedon, Belfalas, or Anfalas is modified by -2 and cannot be attempted with muster. Place any such faction you successfully influence under this card. All factions under this card give an additional marshalling point. Okay. Yeah, I guess. Surion, agent, influence 2+2 against the Dunedain. Howl in Guanur, we've already seen this one. Little Snuffler, we've already seen this creature, but I think I only have one version of it. Pale Dream Maker. permanent event, corruption, dark enchantment, playable on a non-wizard character wounded by an undead attack this turn, does not count against the hazard limit. Target character receives 2 corruption points and makes a corruption check each time his player discards a card from his hand during his turn. Yes, you could do this if you have a lot of undead stuff going on. You could use it in a solo play in the hazard deck. Double vigilance, we saw this already. When you know more, we saw this already as well. Hundreds of butterflies. I really like this card. You can untap, but then you get one additional hazard played against you. So that's good. 2 or 3 tribes present. Yeah, that works. Wound of long burden. Yep, we saw this as well. Yeah. I know much about you. Cancels any agent attack or any hazard effect that requires tapping an agent declared earlier in the same chain of effects, or 1 attack from a hazard creature with multiple attacks. Okay, so you can also use it if you do not have any agents. More alert than most. The number of strikes of any attack that chooses defending characters is reduced by 1. Or by 2 if Gates of Morning is in play. Okay, and discard if any such attack is defeated. Okay. Pierced by many wounds. Now this is iconic. This is Boromir and Aragorn. Playable on an attack with more strikes than defending characters before strikes are assigned. Does not count against the hazard limit. The first excess strike assigned to each character gives a -4 modification to his prowess instead of -1. Oh my word, this is terrible. The first against assigned to each character. This is terrible. Spells of the Barrow Wights. Playable on a character facing an undead strike. If the strike is successful, target character is not harmed and is taken prisoner at a ruins in lairs or shadow hole. Character must discard any rings along with his other items. At the start of each of his untapped phases, make a body check for that character. Rescue attack undead -3 strikes with 8 prowess. This is going to make for very good storytelling. I can already envisage, like, you know, a hazard deck with a story where you meet a lot of undead, you know, traveling through the Barrow Downs and then, you know, getting kidnapped. Memories recalled. That's Barliman Butterbur. Playable on a character with a sage in his company. All dark enchantments on target characters are discarded. Alternatively, a sage can tap and you can discard this card from your hand to fulfill the requirement that lost knowledge be discarded for any card played with the sage's company. We will find out more about lost knowledge in due course, I'm sure. And again, the artwork of the new stuff does not disappoint. Eyes of the Shadow. It's a permanent event. Environment may only be played if Gates of Morning is not in play. The hazard limit is increased by 2 for each moving company with a size of less than 4 that also contains a wizard or a non-ranger character with a mind of 6 or more. Cannot be duplicated. Of less than 4 that also contains a wizard or a non-ranger character. Anarin. Unique agent, agent only, may move to a haven and may tap at a company's new site to attack that company during opponent's movement's hazard phase. What? Unique agent, agent only, may move to a haven and may tap at a company's new site to attack that company during opponent's movement hazard phase. He may move to a haven and then may tap at a company's new site. So if the company is moving to that haven. I just wonder when he does that. I'm unsure how this works. Noldo Lantern, special item, playable at an Underdeep site. +2 to all rolls required for Bearer's company to move to an adjacent site in the Underdeeps. Tap Noldo Lantern to give -2 prowess and 1 less strike to a minimum of 1 to any undead, Nazgul, orc, or troll attack. That's a really powerful and lovely item. We like this one. Endless Whispers. Dark Enchantment, playable on a non-wizard character wounded by an undead attack this turn. Does not count against the hazard limit. Target character can never become untapped while bearing this card. Any effect that would move him to an untapped state makes him tapped instead. Cannot be duplicated in any given character during the organization phase, blah, blah, blah. Interesting card, terrible, but playable in a solo game. Choice of Luthien, permanent event. +2 mind and +2 direct influence. Playable on Arwen in Minas Tirith. She receives +2 direct influence and her mind increases by 2. Discard if Arwen moves to a site not in Anorian, Lebanon, Lamedon, Belfalas, or Anfalas. Tap Arwen to take 1 item, ally, or faction playable at her current site from your play deck or discard pile into your hand. Woo! Reshuffle play deck if searched. This is really brilliant. I can already see when you are playing a storyline that plays out in this area to use this. This is a brilliant card. Rank upon rank. I know I've got this and I think I've got 3 copies already. Palm to Palm. Playable on a company without a wizard at a haven. Any character designated as tapping in support gives +1 to an influence attempt or to an attempt to remove a corruption card by any other character in the company. And the mind of each character and ally in the company is increased by 1. Discard when any playdeck is exhausted. A wizard joins the company or any character in the company splits off into another company. Good. In Darkness, Bind Them. We saw this before. More alert than most, we saw this as well. Pierced by many wounds as well. Forewarned is forearmed. I got this, I think, in the Dragons. Orfung. He's an agent. Never seen him. Playable on an agent. Target agent may take an extra agent action, which does not count against the hazard limit. Each time he normally takes an agent. Cannot be duplicated on a given agent. Target agent may take an extra agent action which does not count against. So we'll have to find out what those agent actions actually are. Spells of the Barrow Wights. Yeah, that's when an undead takes you prisoner. Memories Recalled. We saw this before. Very good. Chill Dowser, we've got this one, and I think we've got it multiple times, so I'm just going to put it here with the doubles. Lindion the Oronin, Warrior Ally, playable at Stone Circle, which is one of the ones that we do not have. Nice. Ivich, he's also an agent. To the Uttermost Foundations. Now this is Gandalf fighting the Balrog. Playable on a company at an Underdeep site during its organization phase. Tap site if untapped. This card is played, tapped, and can only be untapped during your organization phase if the company is at a different Underdeep site. If untapped and at a haven, This card may be stored in your marshalling points pile. Only if stored do you receive its marshalling points. Cannot be duplicated on any given company. Okay, so you play it on a company at an underdeep site. The site gets tapped if it's untapped, and then this card is also tapped. And then if you move to a different underdeep site, you can untap it, but I guess it has to be untapped so that, yeah, and then if untapped and at a haven, you can store it and get 3 marshalling points. Baduila. If Baduila is discarded at target company's new site, company must return to its site of origin. He's an interesting guy with a huge stone wolf thing. Dealus, I think we saw her before. When You Know More, we saw this before. Faces of the Dead, we saw this before. Very nice. It's a short event. Ja. Komm, Krümel, geh mal da weg. Enduring Tales. When any player discards a card from his hand, he may discard it to the top. Yeah, we saw this before. Very good card. Very nice. Which Might Be Lies, playable on a stored resource permanent event that then gets discarded. Secret Ways, the role required, yeah, that's when you move between underdeep sites. Free to Choose, yeah, saw this as well. Good Sense Revolts, yeah, you play this on an agent. Hundreds of Butterflies, and 2 or 3 tribes present. Await the Advent of Allies. Playable on a non-wizard character with a mind of 6 or less. Character must stay at its current non-haven site until you play a card at the site. Target character does not count against general influence and its marshalling points do not count. Discard this card when you play a resource at the site. The character is discarded or the character is wounded. And what does this help me? General influence. Okay, this is actually something that you would play. That's almost like a hazard. You play this against someone. Drums. Long event. For each company at or moving to an underdeep site, the hazard limit is increased by 1 and the prowess of all attacks is increased by 1. That's terrible. Also works outside. Ancient Stair, we saw this. An article missing. Short event. Tap a scout, agent, or target company's new site. At target company's new site, agent may attack. Okay, it's an agent card. Pale Dreammaker. Yeah. Yeah, that's when you're wounded by undead. Nimloth, she's also an agent. Dealus, again, we saw her before. When You Know More, we saw this before. Faces of the Dead, definitely. Enduring Tales as well. Which Might Be Lies, we saw this. Secret Ways, we saw this. Free to Choose. Good Sense Revolts and Hundreds of Butterflies. So far we've only seen one underdeep location, which is quite strange because this is what these are about. You know, this is what they bring. So, Armory. Only you and your companies can use Armory. You may place any minor items from your hand under Armory during your organization phase. A character at a haven can store a minor item under Armory instead of to your marshalling points pile when you otherwise would be allowed to play a minor item from your hand. You may play an item from under armory instead. If you have at least 3 minor items under armory, gain 1 marshalling point. Okay, so it's essentially you can put stuff from your hand into this so that you can play them at a later stage. Little Snufflo, great need or purpose. Each agent may take an extra agent action. Lindyon the Oronin. Bring our curses home. Corruption playable on a non-character whose company is facing a hazard creature attack. This is the off to the side mechanic, which is mentioned there. So we'll just check what this actually does. Placement off to the side. Certain cards and effects require other cards to be placed off to the side. For example, Sacrifice of Form from Middle-earth or Wizards. Cards placed off to the side are placed on the playing surface. Such cards are kept with their host permanent event that caused this effect. Any card placed off to the side absolutely cannot be targeted or otherwise affected by the game, except by cards that specifically affect cards placed off to the side. Cards placed off to the side are in play for the purpose of uniqueness, unless stated otherwise when a host... Aha! Okay. So this means if somebody gets eliminated, you know, if a character and their unique gets eliminated, somebody else could play them. If this one is placed with it, it remains in play. And target character's company faces an attack from creature at the start of each movement hazard phase if creature is playable. Yeah. That's a terrible one. You can definitely also play this in single player. Smoke Rings, that's an old card. I mean, from previous releases, 2 or 3 tribes present. Here we have our friend Bill Fernie. We all know him. Palm to Palm. Yeah. Stirring Bones. I've got this, but I think I only have 1 copy. The Moon is Dead. I mean, this image is just so unbelievably terrifying. It's a really lovely card. Here is a snake. Playable on a company during movement hazard phase. After cards have been drawn, opponent may reveal to you any number of hazards from his hand. He may only play hazards he revealed to you for the remainder of the target company's movement phase. Alternatively, a face-down agent is tapped and revealed. Okay, I could use this and just basically roll dice and then say how many he has to reveal. How many I draw from the top. Faces of the Dead. Gergely. Inner Cunning. As a permanent event playable on a face-down agent. Alternatively, it's a short event. Okay, so that's an agent-related card. In Great Wrath. Playable on a Nazgul in your discard pile that could immediately attack. The Nazgul attacks immediately, not counting against the hazard limit. Yes, you can use this if you have Nazgul in your hazard deck, then you include this card and then you would bring them back. That's the Await the Advent of Allies, a card that I don't really understand. Evich to the Uttermost Foundations. The Grimburgoth. Can use sorcery. Also an agent. Exhalation of Decay. Playable on an undead hazard creature in your discard pile. If target undead can attack, bring it into play as a creature that attacks immediately. Seized by Terror. Playable on a non-wizard character moving in a Shadowland or Dark Domain. Target character makes a roll and adds his mind. If the result is less than 12, that character splits off into a different company. Nasty. Face Out of Sight. Oh, that's when Bill Fernie gets hit with an apple. All on guard cards are returned to owner's hands. At the end of any turn, all wounded agents and tapped agents are returned to their owner's hand. Cannot be duplicated. That's an agent card. Fireworks. Ritual. Playable on an untapped... That's actually one that comes up in one of the scenarios. Okay. You can untap a site with this. Okay. Sudden Fury. Playable on a site until the end of the turn. Any attack by a scout agent at this site has its number of strikes. Okay, that's a... Rebuild the Town. Playable on a non-dragon's lair. The site becomes a border hold and loses all automatic attacks. That's good. So essentially, when you lay out your cards and you know that this is where you're going to go, then you can just basically place this. Healing of Nimrodel. Playable during the organization phase on a moving company whose site of origin is a haven. If the company moves to another haven this turn, at the end of the movement hazard phase, all wounded characters in the company heal. That is a super, super card. No way forward. Environment. The number of region cards that may be played by a moving company using region movement is reduced by 1, or by 2 if Doors of Night is in play. Okay. Inner Cunning. Nimloth. Again, we're not seeing very many under deeps regions, locations. This is really strange. Because we've now, I think, taken out probably 8 or so of these packs. And if you bought them at boosters 1 and 1 by 1, you basically are not getting a lot of this new stuff. Mordor in Arms. Permanent event. Any company moving in Nirn faces 3 attacks. Very good. The Pukul Deeps, Underdeeps. Childausa. Lindion the Orion. The Undercourts. Now we're getting somewhere. Underdeeps. 2 or 3 tribes present. Bill Fernie. Palm to Palm. Stirring Bones. The Moon is Dead. Here is a Snake. Gaggly, Inner Cunning, Rebuild the Town, Nobody's Friend. Yeah, on an agent. Drums. Okay. Increasing the Howding Gwainur, we've already got this one. Dasakun, I don't think we have him. Chance of Being Lost, playable on a moving company using region movement. Yep. Hobbit Lore, playable on Gandalf during the organization phase while at a haven. If untapped, tap Gandalf afterwards. He receives +2 direct influence against hobbits and hobbit factions. Eun, we've seen, have we seen her before? Yes, we have. She's from the Vale of Erich. Good Sense Revolts. Agent Gisulf, we haven't seen him. Hundreds of Butterflies, 2 or 3 tribes present. Secret Ways. Forgotten Scrolls. Lost Knowledge, that's a minor item. Which might be lies. Yep. Wound of Long Burden. I know much about you. Okay. Twisted Tales. That's Grima Wormtongue, Theoden and Eowyn. Playable on an untapped diplomat agent. Goes to the agent pile. Will not come down. Agent pile. Om Buri Om. Don't confuse him with Ran Buri Ran. Little Snuffler. Balance between powers. Environment. No environment cards can be played. At the start of your organization phase, discard this card or keep it in play by discarding an environment card from your hand. Your opponent can then discard an environment card from his hand to discard this card, which you can counter by discarding 2 environment cards, which he can then counter by discarding 1, while you can counter with 2, he with 1, etc. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put it on that and I'm going to sleeve it, but this is one of the ones that pierced by many wounds. Yeah. Seek without success. Discard a ranger agent card. Vein of Arda. That's one that we saw referenced earlier in the Gems of Arda. Sage or dwarf only during the site phase at an underdeep site. Tap the sage or dwarf, tap the site if it is not already tapped. Sage or dwarf may not untap until Vein of Arda is stored at a haven. It's a permanent event. Exhalation of Decay. Resurrect a undead creature from your discard pile and play it as a hazard. Dark Numbers. Fireworks, again, very good. Sudden Fury. That's an agent site. Rebuilding the Town. Double Vigilance. Terrible card, but playable. Inner Cunning. Agent. Knowledge of the enemy. Stolen knowledge. Okay. Childausa. Twisted Tales. Goes to an agent. Urlurtsunurn. The Iron Deeps. Crown of Flowers. I've seen this before. Crown of Flower has no effect until you play a resource with it. You can play 1 resource from your hand with this card. The resource is considered to be played and to be in play as though Gates of Morning were in play and Doors of Night were not. Crown of Flowers does not affect the interpretation of any card except the resource played with it. Okay. Hidden Knife, playable on any face-up agent. Agent card. Never seen him. Playable on an agent. Agent pile. When you know more. Yeah. Cunning Foes. Tap a warrior agent. Okay, that's an agent card. Barrow Blade. Permanent event. Tap the bearer of a Dagger of Westernness during the site phase and play this with the dagger. Dagger receives +1 prowess, +3 versus undead or Nazgul. Cannot be duplicated. Ooh! Wow. Wow. That's a really powerful card. Forgotten Scrolls. Secret Ways. Rank upon rank. Angmar Arises. Any creature that can be keyed to a Shadowland may be keyed to Forochel. Oh, very nice card. Ulurtsunurn. We just had this. Elwen. We haven't heard her before. The Wind Lord Found Me. That's a card I already have from a different one. Yeah. Yeah, it can be played at Isengard and a Shadow Hold or a Dark Hold. Helms of Iron. Permanent event. Playable only if you have a Nazgul permanent event in play. Discard the Nazgul when this card is brought into play. All Orc, Troll and Man attacks with body have their body modified by +1, and all orc, troll, and man attacks with no body have 4 body. Okay. If you have a Nazgul, that works. Durin's Bane. Now, will you please look at this? This is the Balrog. Manifestation of Balrog Moria. 2 strikes. All body checks resulting from a successful strike are modified by +1. May be played at the undergates and at all of its adjacent sites. If Doors of Night is in play, Durin's Bane may be played at any Underdeep site. Reaching Shadow. Any creature that can be keyed to Shadowlands can be keyed to other places, rank upon rank. Palm to Palm. Drawer. A Dwarf Agent. Stirring Bones. Here is a snake. Forewarned is forearmed. We can put this aside. Wafong, we've seen him before. Seek without success. Vein of Arda. Armory. Duoma. In Great Wrath. You can bring back a Nazgul from your hazard deck to make him attack. Await the advent of allies. Balance between powers. That's the one where you basically discard environment card upon environment card. Seek without success. Agent. Vein of Arda again. Exhalation of Decay. Dark Numbers. Fireworks. Sudden Fury. Rebuild the Town. Double Vigilance, Inner Cunning, and Nimloth. Earth Tremors. Any company moving out to or from the Underdeep side faces an attack cannot be cancelled. Rockfall. The Undervaults. Don't think we've seen this before. Nope. Pawn or a Pawn. Like Ganburigan. In Great Wrath. Past the Doors of Dol Guldur. Stolen Knowledge. Playable on a company if the company discards for no effect a stolen knowledge card it controls. You can tap this card during the same site phase. The company successfully plays rescue prisoners at Dol Guldur or rescues characters taken prisoner if the rescue site is Dol Guldur. This card never untaps. If tapped, this card can be stored at a haven. Only if stored do you receive the marshalling points. If stored, all automatic attacks at all dark holes and all shadow holes are with 1 less prowess. Wow. That's cool. Noble Hound again. Healing of Nimrodel. Wisp of Pale Sheen. I think I've got this one already. But again, the card is beautifully made. Nor with words. Tap a sage if another sage is in his company or at his current site or at his new site. Alternatively, tap diplomat. And what does that do? Oh, you just simply tap him. Smoke rings. Reaching shadow. Yep. Withdraw to Mordor. Playable on a face-up agent, so it goes to the agent pile. Draw again, stirring bones. Here is a snake. I think, yeah. If we see this one more time, it goes to the doubles. Scimitars of Steel. Playable only if you have a Nazgul permanent event in play. Discard the Nazgul, okay. And then you give prowess to other attacks. Raisha. Sentinels of Numenor. Okay, you reduce any mustering of factions by -2 in certain areas, but then if you put them underneath this, they give you more marshalling points. Reluctant final parting. Discard an ally if its current site is an underdeep site, or if its current site's nearest haven is not the same as the nearest haven for the site at which the ally can be played. Yeah. To get you away, tap an agent pile, dark numbers, into dark tunnels, playable at the end of the movement hazard phase on a company that has moved to an underdeep site. That company may attempt to move to an additional site on the same turn. Another site card may be played, and the movement hazard phase immediately follows. An unexpected outpost, you definitely have this several times over. Rebuild the town. Nobody's friend, that's an agent card. In darkness, bind them. That's where you change the crown of flowers. Enduring tales. Double vigilance when you know more. Still a ways to go. Whoops. The undergates. That's where you can play the Balrog. Nameless Thing. I think I've got 3 of those already. Armory. Jorma Elerina. Hidden Knife. Never seen him. When you know more, this one goes to the Cunning Foes. Tapper Warrior Agent. Barrowblade. Forgotten Scrolls. Secret Ways. Rank upon Rank. Angmar Arises. Smoke Rings. Om Buri Om. Reluctant Final Parting. The Windlord Found Me. Helms of Iron. Bring Our Curses Home. Yeah. Healing of Nimrodel. Wisps of Pale Sheen. Gnaw with Words. Smoke Rings. Reaching Shadow. Withdraw to Mordor. Agent. Stirring Bones. Here's a Snake. Doubles. Pierced by Many Wounds. If I see this one more time, it goes to the doubles pile, because I think we've already seen this 4 times at this stage. Neither so ancient, nor so potent. Play on a stored item. Return item to opponent's hand. Interesting. Cup of Farewell. Playable on a company at a haven during the organization phase. Once during each of your turns, you can tap a character at this company, if the company is at a haven, to take a minor item from your sideboard into your hand. Nice. Om Buri Om. Reluctant Final Parting. Ordered to Kill. Each face-up agent that goes to the agent pile. Pierced by Many Wounds. Nobody's Friend. Agent pile, free to choose. Which might be Lies. Dark Numbers. Lost Tome. It's an item. Okay. It helps you make information playable at certain places, but if you play it, once you play it for the first time, you take a hit No way forward. The number of region cards that may be played by a moving company using region movement is reduced by 1. In darkness bind them. Double vigilance. Crown of flowers. Scimitars of steel. The dwarves are upon you. We've got this one as well. Elwen. Necklace of Gideon. Only playable at the Lonely Mountain. Okay, gives you influence against dwarves. Angmar arises. Saw further and deeper. Playable only if your wizard is not revealed. Your general influence is increased by 5. Your wizard may only be brought into play at his home site. Discard when you bring your wizard into play. Nice one. The moon is dead. Memories recalled. Lost tome. Seized by terror. Is that an agent one? No. Tribal banner. Playable on an orc or troll attack before strikes are assigned. Does not count against the hazard limit. The prowess and body of target attack are each reduced by 1. All body checks resulting from a successful strike of this attack are modified by +1. Cannot be... Okay. Never seen him. It's an agent card. Barrow blade. Noble hound. Mistress Lobelia. Scout ally. Lobelia Sackville Baggins. She can search for particular cards in your discard pile. The dwarves are upon you. The black enemy's wrath. Ooh, nasty. Increases the automatic attacks of Underdeep's locations. Unexpected outpost. Wisps of pale sheen. Exhalation of decay. I know much about you. Enduring tales. Withdraw to Mordor. Hall of fire. Any company at this haven immediately following its movement hazard phase may choose for one of its characters to untap or heal. Wow. Seek without success. Gisulf. Earth Tremors, Cup of Farewell, Folko Boffin, a hero. Woohoo! We haven't seen one of those in a long time. Okay, so we're going to put him over here. The Puckle Deeps, I think we've seen those before. Yep, we have indeed. Goes to the doubles. Mithril, unique, special item. But you need to have stored Vein of Arda. Very nice. Tribal Banner. Eun, she's another agent. We saw her before. Good Sense, Revolts, Barrow Blade. Noble Hound again. Now, we've got, how many of this one? Noble Hounds? 3, and I've definitely got some already sleeved, so this one goes to the doubles. Healing of Nimrodel, Secret Ways. I think next time I see this, I'm going to put it away on the doubles as well. Nor with Words, Smoke Rings, can go to the doubles. Your Welcome is Doubtful, playable on an untapped. This one is double. Lobelia Sackville Baggins now as an agent. No, is she? No, she's a... No, she's actually a minion, I believe. Great need or purpose. Each agent's an agent. Token of Goodwill. Offering attempt, playable on a diplomat whose company is facing an attack of the type listed below. Target diplomat makes a corruption check. If he does not fail, discard an item from this company as listed below and make a roll. If adding the diplomat's unused direct influence, if the result is greater than the listed values, the attack is cancelled. Oh, nice. Against dragons and stuff, you can try to bribe them. Bill Fernie, him again. Palm to palm, doubles. Flies and spiders. If the strike is successful by spider, target character is not harmed and is taken prisoner. Very nice. The moon is dead. Here is a snake. Faces of the dead. One more time and I'm going to put it. Horns, horns, horns. Each player removes all factions from his discard pile and shuffles them into his play deck. Nice. Gergely and Inner Cunning. Knowledge of the enemy. Stolen knowledge. Permanent event. Nameless thing. The way is shut. A company moving to or from the Underdeep site must return to its site of origin. The Undervaults. I don't think we've seen those before. Let's see. Yes, we have seen those before, so this goes to the doubles. The Black Enemy's Wrath. Gisulf, we've seen him at least 3 times. Pierced by many wounds. Nobody's friend. Free to choose. Which might be lies. Dark Numbers. Lost Tome. No Way Forward. Okay, that's region card movement. In Darkness Bind Them. And Double Vigilance. Twisted Tales, Anarin, Dwarven Light Stone. Haven't seen this before. Troll Purse, permanent event. Okay. Spider of the Morlot, creature or permanent event. Definitely never seen this one before. More alert than most. Dark Numbers again. Into Dark Tunnels. Yep, we have seen this one before. Angmar Rises. Saw Further and Deeper. The Moon is Dead. In Darkness Bind Them. Crown of Flowers, Lost Tome, Seized by Terror. I think if I see Seized by Terror again, I can also essentially put it onto the doubles pile. The Reach of Ulmo. increases the roll that you need to pass when you move between them. The gem deeps, don't have this one, aware of the way of their ways. Hmm. 15 birds and 5 fir trees. Okay. Cancels attacks. Leamon. Angmar arises. Saw further and deeper. The moon is dead. Memories recalled. Lost tome. Seized by terror. Tribal banner. Never seen him. Barrow blade. Okay. So we're doing quite well. Just to give you an overview, we have plenty of things that will go into our blue pile and plenty of things that will go into our red pile with regard to the agents. Just like when I did the other unboxings with the Nazgul, I don't know how I'm going to play those, if I'm going to start, you know, like trying to come up with stories where I can play Nazgul and minions. We'll see, but so far we're doing quite well. So, drums again. Dasakun, Eyes of the Shadow. Yep. Increases the hazard limit under certain under certain circumstances. Noldo Lantern. Like the crash of battle rams, playable on a strike. If the strike is successful, the wounded character's body is reduced by 1. Oh. Until the end of the turn, for every complete increment of 5 strikes of 5, the strike was successful by. Okay. Okay. Herion, haven't seen him before. Fireworks. An unexpected outpost. Wisp of pale sheen. Exhalation of decay. I know much more about you. Enduring tales. Withdraw to Mordor. Agent pile. Hall of fire. Seek without success. Armory again. Lindion the Oronin, we definitely have 3 of him. Will not come down. Surion. Past the doors of Dol Guldur. Noble Hound. Hall of Fire. Stirring Bones. Cunning Foes goes to the agent pile. Saw further and deeper. Reaching Shadow, definitely Wound of Long Burden. No Waiting to Wonder. This is Shellop. Playable on an untapped Hobbit when another character in his company is facing a strike. Tap the Hobbit. The prowess of the strike is modified by -1 and its body by -2. If the strike is successful, the Hobbit must make a body check in addition to the other effects of the successful strike. Ooh, wow. Unexpected outpost, more alert than most. The dwarves are upon you. Nameless thing. Hermit's Hill, we've got this one already. Knowledge of the enemy. In the heart of the realm, of his realm. Each company moving in dark domains draws 1 less card at the start of the movement hazard phase to no minimum. Also, each sage loses its sage skill under certain circumstances. That's a nasty one. Nobody's friend. Free to choose. Lost tome. No way forward. Crown of flowers goes to the double. Hidden knife. Cunning foes. Barrow blade. Rank upon rank. Angmar arises. I think Angmar arises we've got 3 times at least. Knowledge of the enemy. Foes shall fall. You play this when you're being attacked, when you're attacking with a Drake. Folko Boffin, we've seen him before. The Pukul Deeps, definitely Taladan. Not seen him yet, nor with words. Noble Hound. Hall of Fire. Saw further and deeper. Reaching shadow. Wound of long burden. No waiting to wonder. Unexpected outpost. More alert than most. Just put this here because that's a really powerful card. Your welcome is doubtful. Lobelia Sackville Baggins. Scimitars of Steel. Sentinels of Numenor. Wormtongue. Hundreds of Butterflies. Leamon. Sudden Fury. Leaf Brooch. Only playable at Lorien. If a non-special item must be discarded from the company, the leaf brooch's bearer, according to any hazard or resource effect, you may discard leaf brooch instead of fulfill this requirement. Okay. Flies and Spiders. Memories recalled. Forewarned is forearmed. Redoubled force. Oh. Whoops. All or control automatic attacks receive +3 strikes and +2 prowess. Horns, horns, horns. Never seen him. Great secrets buried there. Playable on an opponent. Oh God, nobody can read this. This is so small. If the opponent has at least 10 cards in his play deck. Okay. Okay, that's probably something I can't use when I play on my own, but it's fine. Mistress Lobelia, Dasakun, an article missing, agent, an unexpected party. Removes the need to control certain dwarfs with influence. Redoubled force. The leaf brooch again. No waiting to wonder, nor with words. Cunning foes. Saw further and deeper. Faces of the dead. Tribal banner. No waiting, no wonder. No waiting to wonder. Unexpected outpost. Hermit's Hill again. Great need or purpose. Knowledge of the enemy. Foes shall fall. Fate of the Ithil Stone. Playable on a company it administereth if the company discards for no effect a lost knowledge card it controls. Tap this card. It's got 7 marshalling points. Tap this card if the company plays a Palantir. This card never untaps. If this card is tapped, inverted on the playing surface, rotated by 180 degrees. If the company enters Barad-dur and plays a stolen knowledge card during the same side phase. If this card is inverted, it can be stored at a haven. Only if stored do you receive its marshalling points. If this card is stored, all Palantiri give one less corruption point. Once inverted, no other copy of this card can be inverted. Okay, interesting. Okay, leaf brooch again, flies and spiders. Memories, forewarned is forearmed, redoubled force, horns, horns, horns. Never seen him. I am really surprised at how few underdeep locations we have. Knowledge of the enemy. The undervaults, we've got this before. The way is shut. Childauser. The hunt. Playable on Alatar. Okay. That's a weird card. I think we've got Forgotten Scrolls multiple times at this stage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this one can go to the redoubled force. Leaf brooch. Got this 3 times, so I've got to give it a 4th time. Healing of Nimrodel. No way forward. Smoke rings. No waiting to wonder, nor with words. Two more to go. And all in all, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 underdeep locations. Considering that this is something that they introduced with this expansion, out of 34 opened packs, we only had 7 unique places. Howding War, we've already got this. Little Snuffler, Ancient Stare, Fori the Beardless, Eyegloss. Unique, special item. Okay, it's a weapon. Sudden Fury, Leaf Brooch, Forewarned is forearmed, Redoubled Force, Herion, Fireworks, Exhalation of Decay, I Know Much About You, Hall of Fire, Seek Without Success, that's an agent. And last one, Aware of Their Ways. Opponent reveals 4 cards at random from his discard pile. You may choose a non-unique one and remove it from play. Nice. But this is actually a resource card, not a hazard card. Fori the Beardless, Earth Tremors, Cup of Farewell, Hour of Need. Playable on an untapped non-warrior, non-wizard diplomat during the organization phase. If you are a faction... Sorry. If play a faction from your hand, tap diplomat who then makes an influence attempt on this faction. Count out the numbers of contiguous regions from the diplomat side to the side where the faction is normally playable. Subtract 2 plus this number from the... Okay. Okay, this is... You can basically play, if you're lucky, a region, a faction that isn't where you are, essentially. Pierced by many wounds, forewarned is forearmed, Waffong, memories recalled, seized by terror, face out of sight, leaf brooch, healing of Nimrodel, no way forward. So that's the unboxing. As you can see, we've got plenty of cards. Really very few location cards, and I believe that I had more from the other unboxing that I did, which was simply called Against the Shadow, so I'm not quite sure why they only gave us like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 locations. That's not very many. But yeah, so this was the Dark Minions. Plenty of solo playable cards, plenty of cards for the Wizards expansion that you can use. With regard to the agents, like I said, I'll have to think about how I can incorporate them. I'll also have to read the solo variant scenarios some more to see are they using agents. They might. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I wish you all a pleasant evening. Bye.